Hello, everyone. We are here. We are back. I know it's been a little while, but we have a great guest again for you today. We're going to be talking about some things kicking off Black History Month in the right way. So, without further ado, let's bring him on, Max. How you doing, brother? It's been a long time.
Spencer, I'm good, man. Happy New Year. Happy belated New Year. We're in February now.
Happy New Year to you too. Once again, I'm really looking. We're being two beautiful black men, bald, wearing our glasses.
Oh, yeah. The
Let's
bold
talk
guys are
about some.
winning. The bold guys are winning.
Exactly. We are winning. Not go out of style. So, what has been new for you with the whole Dambe just scene in general, for our viewers?
No, things are just, I think, based following up from the last time we spoke, Dambe is just continuing to go from strength to strength. Hello, Elisa. Like we're just seeing encouraging growth. We're seeing new fans popping up around the world. And we're seeing more and more people engaging with our content, asking questions. And I think what I've noticed, which makes me really happy, is the depth of interest. Not just engaging on the level of, okay, yeah, this is a great knockout, but asking questions, wanting to know more, wanting to understand more about the sport, and the history and and the culture behind it. So
Wow.
yeah, that's largely it. We've just been pushing this thing. We did a big partnership with stake.com, which we announced last year. So yeah, just continuing to preach the gospel of Dambe globally, man.
I love it. And for our viewers that are just tuning in the first time, Max is the president of this organization, and he is really making a lot of things, a lot of headway. And we said that we had big organizations like Stake.com was actually giving them sponsors. And for anybody in the outside sponsorship field, it's amazing to actually see these sponsors come through. Because just like show business and everything there, nothing's really there until it's actually signed, dotted check, and people are actually doing something to things. So they're actually coming through with their promises. We had a new fighter. Where was he from? Is it Luke who came and actually
Yes.
participated?
Yes,
Yeah.
Luke Leyland, aka Dan Bature Kudawa, meaning the
Yes.
white man of House Kudu. So yeah, Luke Leyland just competed at our just completed event, King of Dambe, which took place in Katsina, northern Nigeria, in front of a crowd of 8,000 people. And it
Wow.
was a real milestone moment for the sport because we're finally at a place in Dambe where we now have international global competitors. Of course, Dambe is the culture of Nigeria, especially the culture of the Hausa people of northern Nigeria. It's been their culture for thousands of years, and that will never change. But a great thing about signaling the growth of the sport is more people engaging with it. And we already did that on a fan level in terms of who's watching our stuff. But now we're showing it on a fighting level in terms of who's actually competing and fighting. So it
Wow.
was a big moment for us, and I was it was very important to me that we did it properly, and did that with respect to the culture of Dambe and the sport. So there are a number of things that we did. We, you hear from his name, Dan Bature Kudawa. That means the white man of House Kudu. And what that means is he was the first foreigner, full stop, inducted into a Dambe house.
Wow.
So for anybody who doesn't know, there are three Dambe houses, Arawa, Gudumada, and Kudu, aka Kudawa. And those houses are ancient houses which, depending on where a fighter is born in Nigeria, they're born into one of those houses. So when they fight, they're competing to represent one of those houses. So
Wow.
there's a huge amount of culture and just investment in that in terms of being in a house. And we didn't want it to just be a case of, okay, we brought a Westerner who's just going to come and compete from outside of the system. No, if you're going to come, and I explained it to Luke before, I said, if you're going to come, you need to do this properly. You're going to go and meet the elders. You're going to go and ask to be inducted into a house. They'll make that decision. We as promoters aren't the people to make that decision. And he was accepted and he joined House Kudu. And it was just super interesting. His opponent, Shagon Yellow, is of House Kudu Mada. And when they were competing, it just goes to show the power of the houses in that you had a foreigner, a white guy, right? The first ever white guy to compete in Dambe, competing against someone who, because House Kudu was better represented in the stadium that day, he had more fans than the Nigerian beating on home soil. Just to talk about the
Wow.
brotherhoods in terms of the houses and the importance there. So yeah, it was a big moment for us. Still on a high over it or after it, just over 2 weeks ago.
I can only imagine.
The fight,
That's
he's
just
just
amazing. Like,
absolutely.
yeah, like you can see he's at home. Like literally at this point, in the purest of the word, he was taken into the house. He was accepted as one of his own, and he looked really, really comfortable there. Also, do you want to play a little bit more of the clips of the fight itself? Play a little bit there, so get that showing up for you. So yeah, it's just a really, really short thing. But yeah.
Yeah, even the fight itself was interesting in that it was. I think I always say this, and I've said this. I'm sure I said this when we last spoke, that
Hmm.
people don't understand the technique involved in Dambe.
Hmm.
And regardless of what you might think, or regardless if you're not au fait with the techniques, there are a lot of techniques. So Luke
Hmm.
trained really hard before the fight. He was running. He was trying to do the Dambe style in terms of practicing, trying to recreate the style,
Hmm.
and like really put. I was in contact with him for the months leading up. I can say he really did try. But
Yeah.
Dambe is something that's just totally unique. The technique, the mechanisms of it, and you can see in that clip, he defeated himself really because he
Hmm.
overswung. He didn't quite realize the mechanics of it. And in African Warriors bouts, if you touch the ground twice, the fight is over. So
Hmm.
that's how he lost the fight because he wasn't quite used to it, even though, and experience is the best teacher. You're
Hmm.
barefoot, you're on sand, adrenaline is running through you. There's 8,000 people watching. Crowd is going absolutely crazy. You're fighting a super experienced guy in Shagon Yellow.
Hmm.
So it was super interesting. The fight went well. Before that fight, we had a number of great fights also. So yeah, it was a big moment for us.
That's fascinating. And for any viewers watching right now, if you have any questions, please shout out. We will try to ask Max, get them through. But I know also as a fighter and even doing, I mean, done boxing, all these other different martial arts, swords. But when you're fighting in the sand, like for those of you walking on the beach, I've run on the beach before,
Mhm,
like run a good 2, 3 miles on the beach. The footing is crazy. So
mhm.
to be fighting another opponent that wants to do these things to you and make sure you have sure footing when you're stepping, trying to keep your range, it's so different. So I can only imagine just looking at that footing alone. That's a big, big hindrance. But that's like I said, but he did the work and he got out there. So that's really cool. That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. I see we have a question that popped up. So you cannot touch the ground twice with your hands. Yes. So in traditional Dambe rules, a hand touch because ultimately Dambe, just a bit of a history lesson. Dambe comes from warfare, from preparing for warfare, preparing for battle. That's why your wrapped hand is called your spear, your punching hand is called your shield, a knockdown and knockout is called a kill. So ultimately, if you touch the ground on the battlefield, you're dead. So that's why in damage traditionally going down, touching the ground in any form would constitute you dying, would constitute you losing. In African Warriors rules, where we slightly upgraded the rules just to allow for mistakes, allow for cases where people overswing or cases where they lose their footing, we continue the fight, but you lose the rounds. But if it happens twice, because they're 3 rounds, the fight is over. So it's best 2 out of 3, if you will. And
Hmm.
he did it twice in round one and in round two.
Now with there a time limit? Now that was them preparing their shield hand, if I'm correct. This is the wrap.
Spear hands, the wrapped
Spear
hand.
hand.
Yeah, that's the spear. Yeah. Um,
God.
so yeah, super interesting. I can talk Dambe all day, man.
No, that's why we have you here. And now, with that rope, talking about the rope, is it a hemp? Is it a twine? What is that rope made out of?
Yeah, I would say your closest example would probably be twine. It's hard,
Hmm.
man. Like it feels like a cast. It's not soft.
Hmm.
It's heavy and hard. So you're taking a punch with it. You can't afford to take multiple punches in a row from that.
Hmm.
It's hard. It's heavy. It's built to do damage.
Hmm. Hmm. I think that's really cool. It's interesting, and when we think about boxing, they have different ounce gloves they're working on. But this one, when you're putting this, it's not necessarily more the weight you're adding to, even though you are adding weight to it. It's strengthening the bones. You're getting that knuckle alignment. So when you receive a punch through that, that's definitely you're going to feel it, and it makes the whole arm. It's not going to bend as much. It just receives the blow.
Hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
but that's just speaking from an outsider's opinion. However, segue into something else there. You have something coming on calling that the Dambe experience. Could you tell us a little
Yes,
bit more about
sir.
that as well?
Yeah. So something we've been planning for a while, and Luke's fight was the first part of it. Is
Hmm.
we're really pushing opening up Dambe to our global audience.
Hmm.
So historically, Dambe has very much been closed to foreigners. Like you have to have a whole lot of liver to just arrive in Nigeria and try and find out what's going on in Dambe.
Hmm.
So we're sort of using our position as the organization who organizes this sport and inviting global enthusiasts, people who want to see the sport up close and personal, people who want to train with experienced Dambe fighters and coaches, want to see live tournaments of the best fighters. If not, it's not mandatory, but if you would like to try your hand at competing, we'll also facilitate that. But
Hmm.
yeah, ultimately, it's an 8-day guided tour of northern Nigeria, understanding the entire sport of Dambe. So in that time, you'll visit three states in Nigeria: Abuja,
Hmm.
Kano, and Katsina. You will watch Dambe fights. You'll watch multiple big Dambe tournaments, which we've organized a calendar of.
Hmm.
Um, we'll be ferrying you around Nigeria, so we have all of your sort of international flights and transport booked through that. We're providing extensive security. We'll have police escort and army escort the entire time. But it's just a chance for somebody we get these messages all the time, and we have for years. I want to
Hmm.
come. How can I come? And it's not really feasible to just go, okay, yeah, come to
Hmm.
random one-off people. So we took a lot of time thinking about how to approach it. We partnered with Ajala Travel Tours, which is a great company,
Hmm.
black owned, black female owned company, which specializes in tours of Africa.
Hmm.
And we've now partnered to now deliver the Dambe experience. So super exciting. People get the opportunity to come to understand all aspects of the sport of Dambe, see it up close and personal. Um, and yeah, just it's super exciting. It's the first time it's ever happened, first time in history.
Hmm.
And that will be in November 2024 from the 9th to the 17th.
Outstanding. I know I definitely want to. The HAMA group is trying to give scholarships, as it were, because I know you're saying you're trying to do a thing where if we had people come and pay, we get something for it because we're doing the work, we're getting the footwork, getting people to come. However, you are allowing us to be generous enough to, if anybody wants to do the Dambe experience, just tell them that you're with HAMA or through the HAMA group, and you'll actually get $100 off the trip. Now we're still looking through prices, everything. It's around $2,000 trip. It's not cheap in any sense of the means, but it's definitely worth it. And as I've gone to Greece and I've done other historical reenactments before, Africa has been one that I've always wanted to join. So I think this is a really amazing experience. As Max said, this is the first time open up to foreigners, be it black, white, uh, any creed. They'll make sure that you're taken care of and you get to learn more of the experience. And if you do want to try your hand, which I would like to, because just like how Luke went there, you do your best, you put out there and you try it, and no one can take that away from you, even though
Exactly
if you
that.
take yourself that part. So that
Exactly
sounds
that.
really amazing.
No, and we're super excited to partner with HAMA on it. Like I personally been a fan and I've been a friend to the HAMA community for a good while. And we've always been looking for the opportunity to do some cool stuff together. So I think this is bang on. So yeah, as you mentioned, we'll be offering a discount to HAMA members on booking, on the total booking price. So yeah, it's great. It's exciting. We have information available to anybody who requests. To
Mhm.
request information, contact us at travel@africanwarriorsfc.com and we'll send
Okay.
over the full information pack, which is a detailed pack listing everything that's happening. Um, and yeah, so just sort of your itinerary from sort of start to finish, where we'll be going. We'll be doing things like house of food tour. So you'll do like a house of cooking class. You'll go and visit some of the historical parts of northern Nigeria. We'll go and pay our
Mhm.
respects to the Emir of Katsina, so the traditional ruler who leads the Katsina Emirates, which goes back thousands of years. So it's not just Dambe; it's the chance to experience Dambe and House of Culture at the same time.
Mhm.
Yes,
Mhm.
there you go. So super excited.
Super excited. And we will put it down. I don't know if we can put it in chat below also if you're able to do that. But we are definitely going to be covering this throughout from now, starting now, all the way up to November. We're going to be putting things together. We have a task team on HAMA right now who's going to be talking about the information, getting people prepared. So there will be information. We'll be getting it out to you as possible. And for those of you who aren't following HAMA on Facebook, Historical African Martial Arts Association, or HAMAA, check us out there or on Instagram. We're definitely going to be trying putting more and more out there. Not trying, we're going to, because we want to support this and we really want to give people the opportunity. This is a hopefully not last once in a lifetime, but this being said, this is a once in a lifetime experience. Seeing this is the first time it's opening up. Uh,
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you. We don't want to keep you for too long, but we also want to make sure that is there any other cool stories that happened? Has there been any personal growth that you've had during these bonds that you're making? Like any stories for you yourself? Like anything you want to
Yeah,
share?
it's the Luke experience. The his fight was so interesting. It was eye opening. It was on multiple levels.
Hmm.
Having somebody come this far to compete.
Hmm.
Um, and what I appreciated about it was he had respect for the coach in the way he should have. To be
Hmm.
honest, I was a bit skeptical actually because he got in touch and he was
Sure.
chasing me for like a year, and I was just
Yeah.
a bit like, I'm not really sure that I'm into this, and it took me a while to really, get down
Hmm.
with it. And we had a number of conversations about it, and I was like, okay, his attitude, his goals for this are correct, it seems, and as
Hmm.
such, let's do it. But it's just funny how that works. If you go from having these chats, the guy arriving in Nigeria, and he became a superstar. We're driving through the city, and people are waving from their bikes. People are calling out "Dambature, Luke." We're in the
Oh,
airport. People are taking pictures of him. We had Nigerian senators tweeting about it like it was a huge moment.
wow.
So that's really what we're going to recreate here. It's
Yeah, it's
yeah,
just
as you
another
can
that
see,
experience.
crowd loved him. So yeah, it was super interesting. Even spiritual aspect of Dambe will be something that you'll get exposed to too. So it's a very important part of Dambe. If you see the fighters wearing amulets, they're wearing necklaces. So you'll get
Hmm.
the chance to get one of your own and take that back with you, carry blessings from the motherland back with you. So it's a real comprehensive experience, and we're super excited about it.
That's amazing. I know myself when you can't trust all the things you see in 23andMe or looking at heritage, but as being an African American or a black member from society here, you're not really sure about your heritage, or some people aren't. At least in my family, we trace some things back. But knowing I have some history back in Nigeria and looking, I was like, this might be a chance to like try to
Mhm.
form those bonds. And if not, even no matter what of the past, this is what you're making in the future. Like I said, you're going to go pay your respects to the houses, get to live amongst these people for a little while, understand their experiences, and just be humble and just take it away. It's something you'll have for the
Yeah,
rest of your life.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that sounds absolutely amazing.
I believe so too.
Very cool. Well, as we start to tie things up here, any other questions from our followers and listeners? You guys have anything else for Max? Max is a busy guy, but we were able to get a little bit of his time today. It's fortuitous that it
Anytime
happens to
Hammer
be.
calls.
We appreciate that. We really do. Uh, like some training videos. Okay, that's actually a good point. Um, like how there's pictures with Luke and the fighting. Was there extra footage that we would be
We're
maybe able
working on the
to
training
have?
concept. We're working on a
Okay,
training
okay.
web series. So watch this space coming soon.
Okay, we'll watch the space coming soon, and we'll talk more in the future too, as well. Because some of those things, the short form content is, people just like seeing a little clip, even just a little bit, someone talking about them wrapping their spear hand with this part there. And of course, there's the translation, but people just want to see it, and this is the perfect thing
Of
that would
course.
really hype things up. So, and that's amazing. Great question out there. Great question. Well, cool. Anything else for us, my friend?
There's an interesting
Or is it?
comment that just came in through
Oh, sure. I
from
can't see this one.
Elisa.
Yeah. Hmm.
I did a DNA test. Since they did not keep records on the slaves with that
Hmm.
information, and we're not allowed to speak our language. That is about all you can do. I would love to visit the mother country. Yeah, come and join us. Come and join us. It's a beautiful thing. It's not just a tour. It's martial arts. It's culture. It's history. It's the opportunity to connect with your roots on that level. And people are so welcoming in Nigeria. People want brothers and sisters in the diaspora to come home. So certainly, you'd be very welcome.
See, and that's really amazing when you think about that, because I think I'm speaking for myself and not speaking for anyone else when I come to this part. Sometimes you don't know where you feel you belong, and even though skin looks this way or this part, you're like, I don't know if I feel like I'm at home at this point. But it seems like if you come in there with an open mind and just you're just there and appreciative, people will tell you all you want to know and more. Especially when it comes to Dambe, they'll talk to you for days, it seems like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I should just say, for more information, you can either DM us on African Warriors Fighting Championship Facebook, at African Warriors FC Instagram, or you can email us at travel@africanwarriorsfc.com. So information,
Excellent.
we'll send out the info pack. We're being very flexible in payment plans and everything. The plan is to make it sort of as easy to facilitate it happening, so we can have a discussion about what works best for you. As I said, we're working in collaboration. Yes, thank you, Elisa. We're working in collaboration with an established tour company, which is run by Hannah Ijala, who is a very popular BBC journalist. So, yeah, get involved.
Excellent. And we'll try to make everything as successful as possible. Like I said, it's around 2,000, upper end 3,000 if you want to do there. But it seems daunting, but we have from now to November to start doing saving that money, working on other projects. We hope to do some fundraisers where we might actually offer a bigger scholarship program because we want to help facilitate people. My hardest thing when people want to do these trips, anything, be it anything outside of dysphoria or inside it, is they're like, well, I can't. And they already shut their mind off to where it's impossible. So
Mm,
those who put in the groundwork, I think, should be rewarded, and we will come up with some
yeah,
things.
and as part of
Excellent.
that, I should say, where any help people need on visas, on logistics generally, we're also through our partner providing that. So getting your visa to Nigeria sorted, logistics in terms of what flights you should be booking, all of those things. You'll be fully supported on that. And of course, discount to our Hammer friends, $100 off as well.
Excellent. We really appreciate that and the partnership as we have growing forward and growing a part of this HAMA family and extended. And we really want to see Dambe take over the world because
We'll get
it
there.
really lit a fire in me to see this part. I've been trying to shape for other fighting too, but to see this, I'm like, why would this not be something you want to reach towards? It's just another really cool experience.
We'll get there. Oh, you've got another question in.
Oh, sure, sure. We still have time.
There are other organizations. Do you think about unification belts? Yeah, it's an interesting question. The sport is growing and it's going to continue growing. And my priority is always giving the fighters the biggest platform. So if it goes in that direction, yeah, we're open to it. Anything that's good for the sport, the profile of the sport, the fighters of the sport, we're behind.
And I can see that where as long as you guys get to control the metrics and what the spirit of the game is and what you're actually the history, the sky is the limit with that. Because you see some people like with slap fights or other things, they just want to make a spectacle. They want to make a spectacle. They want to show when you're like, no, if this is what Dambe is, we will allow you to show this and showcase this, but we will always keep the spirit of this. We won't let it be turned or warped for the profit of money, even though it's bigger. Exactly. It's all about keeping it pure. Keeping it pure.
Exactly that. Perfectly said.
Excellent. Any other questions, my friends? It's so good. I'd like to see when the people interacting. I know our last time we were kind of coming out of nowhere and we didn't get a lot of people as much, but it's really cool to see what questions we've had so far. So I think we're gonna close it for this time. Doesn't mean we can't get you back. We might actually try to plan to do like make this into a quarterly thing, so we tell you how things are going with us, how things are going with you, and do little updates if you're open to that. I know you're busy. You're very busy.
Yeah, I'm open to it. I'm open to
okay.
it. Just as you say that, 2 more questions.
Oh, perfect. Oh, perfect. No, there you go.
Do you think about an ebook? That's from Altair. Yes, as I said, we've got something in the pipeline. So watch this space. You're bang on. We're working on it.
Excellent. Perfect.
And then Justin, where can we watch Dambe and learn more about it? African Warriors FC, Instagram, African Warriors Fighting Championship, YouTube, Facebook. You can watch all the content you want there. We have more, as I said, different types of content coming out, delving into different parts of the sport, more educational content. So there's a lot more coming.
Yes, excellent. Yes, African Warriors Championship. Check them out. I know I'm subscribed to you guys on Instagram, but I'm going to start posting that a lot more, share that, and start working some more communication between you guys there. Well, thank you so much for all tuning in. Max, thank you so much for having us. For the HAMA Association, thank you for allowing us to show this to the world and getting more people interested in all the things across Africa and more. So until then, see you next time and stay tuned.
Thank you, Spencer. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, my friend.